right, and we live. All right, so this is another session of Love Vibe Share, where every ride is a conversation, every conversation is a vibe, bringing everybody together one conversation at a time. I am sitting here with, what's your name, bro?
Christian.
Christian. So Love Vibe Share, man, is all about understanding relationships, man. One of the aims of why I started this is because I see that there's a huge gap between men and women, particularly in the black community, right? You know, I see a crazy gender war, and I want to really bring our people together, black men and black women, especially, but just men and women in general rather. So my first question, so I base this kind of philosophy on what I call the 4 elements of love, right? The 4 elements of ourselves, the 4 natures of ourselves. So we're spiritual beings, we're mental beings, we're emotional beings, and we're physical beings, right?
Yeah.
And so my philosophy or my theory is that if you nurture yourself and your partner in those 4 areas, I think that will bring about a fruitful, long-term, like forever relationship, the type of relationship that we all say we want, right?
Yeah.
All right, so my question is gonna be based on those things. So my first question for you is, how do you nurture yourself spiritually, and how would you want your partner to nurture you spiritually?
I mean, first things first, it all starts with my relationship with God.
For sure.
You know, we'll be nothing without Him. Our timing is His timing, so I always give thanks to God.
For sure.
Meditate. I take time to actually learn and study myself as well, because that's something people tend to forget. Because, you know, you got to learn yourself. You got to love yourself. You got to grow with yourself.
Absolutely.
And energies, environments, all these frequencies are constantly trying to change us and throw us off balance. And so you got to learn how to keep yourself afloat. That's
Absolutely.
very important.
Absolutely.
So if I don't see my partner on the same journey or path, then it's not gonna work out.
All right. So what do you need from your partner? What do you need for you know?
Somebody who's really in tune with themselves.
Okay.
And somebody who loves themselves, and somebody who has a good relationship with God.
For sure.
That's all of that is important to me.
So what would they need to do for you to like nurture you in that area spiritually? What would you wake up in the morning and your partner is doing X, Y, and Z, and you feel spiritually fulfilled? What does that look like for you?
I mean, to me, you know, it don't even have to be physical. It doesn't have to be anything like that. But just being present with her energy, like
Right.
just me feeling comfort, even if she's upset or mad.
Right.
Just
Right.
the fact that I have somebody by my side that I can love and I can be peaceful with.
For sure.
That's comforting alone. Like that's enough to satisfy me and nurture me. Because I know at the end of the day, no matter how big the challenge is, no matter what we're going through, I always got you.
For sure. Yeah, I feel that, man. I feel the same way. Like with my lady, I personally do affirmations.
Yeah.
So I would want to do like a set of affirmations with her, you know, so I pray, you know what I'm saying? Praying over me, you know what I'm saying? Those types of things. So yeah, absolutely, man. I 100% agree with what you're saying on that.
Use the left lane
So,
to take the I-75
with that being
south
said,
ramp.
let's move to the mental part, right? So,
Yeah.
In a quarter
what do you
mile,
do
merge
what do you
on
do to help
I-75 south,
nurture yourself
I-85
mentally,
south.
and what do you need from your partner, from your lady, to nurture you mentally, and what would you need to do for her? And actually, no, let's take a step back. What would you do for your lady spiritually to nourish her spiritually?
To nourish her spiritually?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I've never actually got asked that question. I will be present.
Right.
Because I know most girls like attention. Most girls like to be heard. Or
Right.
to be emotionally understood.
Right.
So I would try to connect to her emotions. Like even to me, if it may be something little or something small, something
Right.
so petty, to her it could be the end of the world.
For sure.
Just being there, present in my emotions for them, being, you know, understanding and patient, I guess.
For sure.
To answer that question.
Okay. So let's go to mentally. So what do you do for yourself to nurture yourself mentally? What do you need from your lady to nurture you mentally? And what would you do for your lady to nurture her mentally?
So for me, if I'm having like mental days where I feel like I'm off, I tend to like isolate, but I go take walks, go jog. I do something physical to
Okay.
keep my mind off of, you know, whatever I'm going through.
Right.
And I try to I guess be alone for a minute, to chill, to think, to meditate. So I guess.
So you find peace in isolation.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So with my partner, if it's not like, if we can't like, if I have something going on and I can't, have my moment to like decompress and chill, that doesn't necessarily mean like me not talking to her for hours or minutes. That just means like me just toning back certain energies, like me
Right.
being more
In half a
quiet, me
mile,
being more
use the
chill.
right
Gotcha.
lane to take
And then
exit
her just being there,
247 for
being
I-20
supportive and
toward
understanding
Augusta,
without
Birmingham.
me having to explain every time,
Right.
this and this is going on, or without somebody being upset.
Right. So in your moments of getting that isolated peace, would you want her to be present with you, or would you want her to be understanding that you need to go off to yourself and like chill, isolate from her, and her to still be understanding in that?
Use the right
It
lane to
depends,
take exit
because
247.
I would say
Then use
present
the
with
right
me,
lane
but
to
if you're
take the
present with
ramp
me,
to
you gotta
I-20
understand
west.
what's going on.
Right.
If you don't
Right.
understand what's going on, then just give me my space.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And what do you need? And so it
Use
sounds
the
like
right
when
lane
I
to take the
when I
ramp
said
to
mentally, you
I-20
heard
west.
like having some sort of like mental, maybe not necessarily crisis, but some
Continue
sort of
on I-20 west
mental,
for 1.5 miles.
some sort of situation that has kind of jarred you mentally. What about things that, like, how do you want to, like, what are some subject matters, things that you like, interests that you have that kind of nurture you mentally? Like, what do you like to learn? What do you like to do that you feel like it really challenges you or nurtures you mentally?
Yeah, everything in life, like good, bad, it could be something tragic, devastating, or it could be something like uplifting in the best moment in your life.
Right.
Everything happens for a reason.
For sure.
So, I learned how to embrace every single moment and treat it all as a lesson. Like, this happened because of this.
Right.
That happened because of that. Like, it's all a learning lesson. So it's like it's trial and error. Like, we're humans. We make mistakes. Everything happens. It's all about how you handle those mistakes and how you learn from it. Because somebody can be like, oh man, I lost $20 today, and then that can ruin their whole mood, and now they're crashing out on everybody.
Right.
Or somebody can be like, oh man, I lost $20, and then now they're finding ways to make more $20, and they're coming out with 100 at the end of the day because they had a positive mindset about it.
Right.
So
it sounds like you're saying that perspective is really important, right?
It's very important. Perspective is 100% important.
Okay. So what about your lady? How do you envision you nurturing her mentally?
I would nourish her mentally by
Continue
helping
straight to
her
stay on I-20 west.
understand herself.
Okay.
And balance herself out.
Okay.
And praying, like you said, praying
Continue on
together,
I-20 west for
meditating,
3/4 of a mile.
doing little activities where we can both, I guess, ease our mental health.
Right.
And if she's kind of like me, where she needs her space and guidance, then I will be supportive of my energy
Take
without
exit
necessarily
54
speaking or
from
being
Edward
physical.
Street.
Right.
Just being present.
Right.
So, or just listening, being in ear. So
Absolutely.
So somebody can listen, because that's mostly what everybody needs.
Yeah. Somebody listen.
Somebody talk to.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So what about? So I know you touched on it a little bit. So what about emotionally? Like, how do you nurture yourself emotionally? How do you need your partner to nurture you emotionally? And what do you do for your partner to nurture her emotionally?
Yeah, I grew up emotional. I grew up not being able to show my emotions. So when I hit, like, being an adult, when I experienced life,
Use the middle lane
I
to
show,
take the
like,
I'm
the type of dude who show their emotions. Like, I don't
use
care.
the right
Like,
lane to turn left.
if it's something going on, my girl is emotional, I can balance that. Like, I can level with her to help her understand, what's going on.
Right.
Instead of be like, oh, you tripping, or like, oh, stop crying, why you doing too much?
Yeah.
Nah, I just balance it out, because emotions are serious.
Yeah.
Like, people be like, oh, you just gotta toughen up. Oh, you just gotta do this and that. Sometimes that's hard.
Yeah, especially as men. So we're socially conditioned to like see vulnerability as weakness, right?
Exactly.
And so that's always a challenge for us. You know what I mean? And if you are a naturally like emotionally literate man, then it's always like it's looked at, it's frowned upon, right? You know what I mean?
People try to take advantage of me so many times.
Yeah.
Just because I got the emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I can help somebody understand themselves. I can help somebody understand their own emotions within themselves.
Yeah, that's a gift, man. Like you said, being an empath in general is a gift, but as a man, a lot of it's a gift and a curse. Like you said, I mean, even like when you're a child, like a lot of times, little boys get punished for being crybabies. They cry too much. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. You know what I mean? So a lot of us grow up in those type of environments where, we're chastised for, having any kind of
Continue straight
emotion,
onto Cascade
you know,
Avenue
and so,
Southwest.
you know, if you don't unpack that as an adult, you know what I mean, it gets, you know,
Continue
it
straight
gets
onto
toxic,
Cascade
absolutely,
Avenue
you know what I mean?
Southwest.
So yeah, and it requires a certain level of strength as a man to like, to actually
Continue
be
on
okay
Cascade Avenue
with
Southwest for 2
understanding, you know, your empathic nature, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's good that you're on that path, man, because it's definitely a tough one. And so, with that being said, let's go to the physical part. So, how do you nurture yourself physically? How do you see yourself nurturing your partner, your lady physically? And how do you nurture? How do you want your lady to nurture you physically? And so that can be like, in terms of like work, you know, like the actual physical nature. That can be like an actual, you know, sexually. That can be like in terms of lifestyle things like finances, or, you know, just like lifestyle, like, you know, dishwashing, you know, all the little, you know, domestic things like that. So I incorporate all those things in the physical area.
I mean, my love language is physical presence. So
Yeah.
for me, how do I nurture myself physically is self-care.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
take care of myself, like
Yeah.
daily stuff. Like, I mean, like, I don't like the average self-care stuff, but my partner, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, sex is cool, but it's really not all that. Like, it's really not. I can be with somebody for years and not, you know, and not make that a requirement.
Right.
But I can still be physically present by just being, just, I don't know how to explain it, but just physically being there without the sexual intimacy, if that
Right.
makes sense.
I got you. Okay.
But
So I think, you know, I know it's funny. I was talking to a couple of young ladies earlier. We were talking about this. Like, I think with men, is, and part of that social conditioning in terms of like, you know, what's acceptable emotion or connection. A lot of times it's only socially acceptable for men to be sexual, even though when we want, I mean, a lot of times, like I said, you know, I was telling them, like, a lot of times, a lot of men like to cuddle, we like to, you know, hug and kiss and all the things, you know what I'm saying?
I cuddle with my girl
Yeah,
all night.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of times the only time that we feel like it's okay to actually have those types of intimate moments is through sex, right?
Yeah.
And so, so to your point, you know, I think a lot of us will be just as we'll have a similar level of satisfaction. Some of us, at least, may have a similar level of satisfaction with with quality time and physical touch,
Yeah.
and not just the sexual part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that I think that's very important. So what else do you need? How will you show up for your lady?
How would I show up for my lady? So I don't know. I guess I do like give gifts a lot too. Like,
Okay.
over time, like I'm not the type to just buy money and be like, oh yeah, I got this, yeah, I can buy you this. Nah, you gotta earn that.
For sure.
But I do like little bitty stuff, like letters or
Right.
picnics or
Got you.
something they can bring up in a conversation. Like, oh, I like this color. I'll go buy her that color flowers or something like
Right.
that. Like I pay attention. I'm really aware of everything. Like I take note of everything. That can also be a toxic thing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I'm working past it. I'm not gonna lie. I used to as a teenager, bro, I was toxic.
Well, I think that, like you said, if you're perceptive, then that can go either way, right? So if you're very perceptive and aware of things, I mean, it's like anything, like anything can be used for good or bad, right? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a knife can butter bread or it can cut a throat, right? So
Exactly.
I think that it's all about, you know, the usage. So it's good that you're on a journey where, you know, you're learning to use your powers for good. You know what I'm saying? That's you know what I'm saying? That's a good thing. So I think that's important. And I think, you know, what you described, what I heard you say is like you're just kind of a naturally romantic dude. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
And so,
boy, bro, I'm be honest. Like, I'm not in a relationship right now, just because I can't find nobody who has the same energy and level that I will pour into them.
Right.
That's my struggle. Like I'm gonna be honest, I'm 22, and my goal is I'm not dating just to date around or have fun or nothing.
For sure.
I'm dating to get married. I'm dating to find somebody that I can be with for the rest of my life.
For sure.
And me out here into this world is realizing that most girls my age just don't. They say they want it, but they're not building themselves as a person to get it. Like, you know, you can't be a wife without already being a wife. I took that from somebody.
Yeah.
Go past this
But
light
you know, it's
and
funny,
turn right
man.
on
Like,
Benjamin East
and
Main
that's what I was
Drive
telling
Southwest.
folks earlier. Like, one thing I'm learning in doing this right here, dude, is that both men and women are saying the same exact things, bro. We all want the same things.
Right onto
We have the
Benjamin
same
East
complaints
Main
about
Drive
each other.
Southwest.
We have the same desires from each other. And it's like it's almost like we're speaking two different languages, you know what I'm saying? Which is one of the reasons why I'm developing this framework, because one thing I'm noticing is that a lot of times we're saying, you know, we're using the same words, we're meaning different things, right? We need to be, you know, because I have actually a PhD in language literacy education, and as a linguist, I know that how important it is for us to have the same definitions, right? We can be using the same words, and be, like I said, have different meanings. So, you know, part of what I want to do with this is like make sure we actually have the same framework and understanding of what the things that we're talking about and what we need, right? And so,
in a quarter mile, your destination
so yeah,
will be on
with
the
that,
right.
so with that said, you know, like I said, I literally had two young ladies earlier today say pretty much almost verbatim what you just said about having, you know, wanting this and that from the people my age, and I mean almost verbatim what you said, bro. And it's like, and I told them the same thing I just told you, like men and women are saying the exact same thing, and we are, you know, it's wild, bro. It's like, again, doing this, I'm seeing, like, I feel like it's like I'm on one side of the mirror and I'm watching the other side say it. It's just really wild. It's like it being in a dimensional portal or something like that. It's really weird.
Because look at the world, man.
Yeah.
Look at the distractions we got.
Yeah.
Just scroll on Instagram for 2 minutes. Like, I wouldn't say it's not black culture, but it's what we're feeding into black culture that makes people think that it's black culture.
Yeah.
Your
Like,
destination is on the right.
I'm gonna say this one thing, but what we doing to ourselves is far worse than what any other race have done to us as people as a whole. Like, we as people need to actually stop being so negative towards each other and pour that positivity into us, because the world don't like us. I'm a black man. I can go anywhere in this world around other races and they're gonna look at me as a threat. I'm not gonna lie, that sucks. I can go to a black neighborhood and guess what? They can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Why is that?
You know, and I think that part of it is, to your point, I think that it's what gets promoted as what is black culture as opposed to what actually is black culture, right? Yeah. Black culture is much more diverse, and you know, it's not a monolith. It's much more diverse and dynamic than what it gets promoted. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, to your point, I think that, you know, a lot of the things you see on social media that gets attributed to black culture is just one small part of a much larger dynamic that, you know, a lot of stuff that doesn't get it promoted. You know what I'm saying? And so I do agree that, which is why I said, like, you know, I was talking about earlier, like I really want, for one of the outcomes of this project is that I want for black men and black women to be speaking the same language and to actually actually come together and want the same things and build community. Because if you talking about race, there is no other people, no other gender, two genders that need each other in terms of race than black men and black women. We need each other more than anybody else.
Bro, the black household is the
Absolutely.
strongest household.
Absolutely.
Why do you think they did all this stuff back in the past?
Yeah.
Breaking up black household.
For sure, man. All right, bro. Well, it's been a great conversation, man.